Hello, my friends. Have you ever truly realized that the most ordinary things we do at night, those actions repeated so many times throughout our lives without a second thought, could one day turn into life-threatening dangers as we grow older? What was once a quiet, peaceful night of rest can silently transform into a battlefield. A time when even the simplest routines become hidden traps, waiting to harm us. Yet few of us are ever warned. I speak of this not as an outsider, but as someone who has witnessed with painful clarity how aging turns daily habits into risks. Friends, family, people I love have suffered not because of disease or bad luck, but because no one ever told them how their bodies would change. What once felt harmless, getting up too quickly, drinking water late at night, or sleeping in a cold room, becomes something entirely different as we age. Our organs weaken, our bones grow fragile, and our circulation slows, all without us noticing until it is too late. Let me start with something that sounds so simple, it almost feels foolish to worry about. Getting out of bed. For the young, rising suddenly is nothing. But for older adults, this very act can become a silent killer. With age, our blood vessels lose elasticity, and our hearts struggle to respond quickly to sudden movements. When lying down, gravity pulls blood toward the lower body. The moment we stand, our heart must work harder to adjust. But aging slows this process down. Blood pressure drops sharply. We call this orthostatic hypotension, a condition that causes dizziness, blurred vision, fainting, and falls. Falls that often lead directly to a hospital bed or worse. Medical research reveals that nearly 20% of older adults experience these sudden drops in blood pressure, many without knowing. The risk only worsens with blood pressure medications, diuretics, or conditions like diabetes and Parkinson's. I remember Charles, a healthy 75-year-old who took pride in his daily walks. One night, waking to use the bathroom, he did what he'd done 1,000 times before. He swung his legs over the side of the bed and stood up. Seconds later, his world went black. He collapsed, hitting his head on the nightstand. That fall took him from his home to a hospital bed. Days passed, and everything changed. All because no one had ever told him his heart could no longer protect him the way it once did. But it doesn't stop there. Water, a symbol of life, can also become a hidden danger in old age. We're told to stay hydrated, to drink plenty of fluids, but no one warns us that aging kidneys lose their ability to concentrate urine. The same amount of water we drank easily in our youth now overwhelms our body. Drinking late at night forces already weakened kidneys to work overtime, filling our bladder just when our body should be resting. This leads to nocturia, waking up multiple times at night to urinate. It sounds harmless, but it's not. Studies confirm nocturia is directly linked to poor sleep, increased risk of falls, and dangerous strain on the heart. Each trip to the bathroom in the dark, half asleep, becomes a gamble with your life. I remember Richard, 73, who believed drinking more water before bed would help his kidneys. One night, disoriented from sleep, he stumbled on his way to the bathroom. He fell, broke his hip. That fall was not just an accident. It was the start of a long, painful journey filled with surgeries, rehabilitation, and the slow loss of his independence. A well-meaning habit, done at the wrong time, changed his life forever. And then comes the cold. Many of us grew up believing that sleeping in a cool room helps us sleep better. But no one warns us that with age, our ability to regulate temperature fades. Sleeping in a cold room becomes dangerous. The cold constricts blood vessels, raises blood pressure, thickens the blood, and forces the heart to work harder. Dry air irritates the lungs, paving the way for respiratory infections, pneumonia, often deadly in the elderly. Scientific data proves that cold nights increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes, especially during winter. I remember Walter, 77, who loved sleeping with the window open. Slowly, his health declined. He felt his chest tighten, breath grew short. By the time he saw a doctor, his heart was already struggling. His nightly habit, harmless in youth, had become a silent killer. Yet perhaps the greatest danger of the night is the one we ignore most. Those subtle signs of distress we feel and dismiss. A slight chest discomfort, a strange burning in the throat, breathlessness. How easily we tell ourselves, it's just gas, or just age catching up. What we don't know is that the risk of heart attacks and strokes surges in the early morning hours, exactly when most of us are asleep or trying to brush off these warning signs. Medical studies have proven that heart attacks often begin quietly at night, starting with mild discomfort, sweating, or fatigue. By morning, the damage may already be done. Edward, 74, felt an unusual tightness in his chest one night. He convinced himself it was indigestion. By morning, he collapsed from a heart attack that had likely started hours earlier. If only he had known. If only someone had told him how silent heart symptoms can be in the elderly. And then there is the simple pleasure of a late dinner. After a long day, who doesn't enjoy sitting down to a hearty meal, believing we've earned it? But large, late-night meals are a danger few understand. Digestion slows with age. Heavy meals trigger acid reflux, disturb sleep, and worse, cause silent aspiration. Tiny amounts of food or stomach acid enter the lungs during sleep, unnoticed. Over time, this causes lung damage, chronic infections, and deadly pneumonia. Gerald, 73, worked late and often ate dinner right before bed. Slowly, he developed a chronic cough, waking at night gasping. By the time doctors found the cause, his lungs were already damaged. A slow, silent destruction that could have been prevented by a simple change, eating earlier. All of this may sound frightening, but knowledge is power. And these are changes within our control. Rising slowly from bed, drinking water earlier in the day, keeping the bedroom warm, never ignoring chest discomfort, eating dinner earlier, small actions. Yet they carry the power to protect our lives, preserve our independence, and guard our dignity. I share this not to create fear, but because ignoring these truths costs too much. Aging with grace is not about pretending we are young. It is about understanding how our bodies change and adapting wisely. Our nights should not be filled with silent dangers. They should be peaceful, healing hours that prepare us for the gift of another day. If this message strikes a chord with you, I urge you to share it. Someone you love might be at risk right now, without even knowing it. Let's protect ourselves and those we care about, not just in the light of day, but through every quiet, fragile hour of the night. Your health, your independence, your life are worth this. Stay aware, stay safe, and most of all, stay well.